Hey guys, this is Matt McGloin of Cosmic Book News. We'll go live in a few minutes, or in a minute or two, once the audience picks up. We'll chat about the Wolverine rumor and some news that hit this morning and last night about Marvel. A bunch of Marvel Studios news has come from the Golden Globes and Kevin Feige. So we'll go into that. We'll go into the Wolverine rumor. And some Captain Marvel spoiler and leaked footage. Just give me a few a minute or two while this goes live on YouTube and Facebook. I'm also streaming live on Twitch. I'll just share this in the group. Yeah. All right. All right. The audience is building right now. We're gonna go over a rumor about Wolverine at Marvel Studios and some X-Men rumors that just came out. There's an article on the main Cosmic Book News page that I just wrote about it, but I figure I'd go do a live video. The audience is still building. Let's see. Okay, looks like we're good on YouTube. Facebook, we're still building the audience. We're going to go over some rumors about X-Men and Wolverine that just hit at Marvel. This is, here, let me just pop my face up there. Hey guys, this is Matt McGloin, EIC of Cosmic Book News. Big rumor just hit the net about Wolverine at Marvel Studios, offering that quite possibly some fans, or some X-Men fans at least, might not like what's going to happen to Wolverine in the MCU. Alright, I think we'll go into the rumor right now. I wrote an article about it. Actually, we're gonna go into a Captain Marvel spoiler, a slight spoiler, before we get into the X-Men thing, because it's kind of related. It's how I found out about the Wolverine news. So we're gonna pop real quick into a Captain Marvel spoiler. Right here. Tonight, during the NCAA National Championship football game on ESPN, some exclusive new Captain Marvel footage is going to drop. It looks like it's going to be like an extended TV spot, some sort of clip. But yesterday, a Redditor posted a screenshot, an image from the footage. It's right here. It's said to be, we see Brie Larson right here, right? With what's said to be a young Monica Rambeau, which is claimed to be her goddaughter. Now, fans of the comics will know that Monica went by Captain Marvel, you know, in the comics. And how it kind of relates to the Captain Marvel movie is that her mother, Maria, is in the movie. We already knew that Maria was in the movie because, you know, we got these official images from Marvel. But we didn't know, you know, we didn't know for sure that Monica was in the movie, I don't think. At least, it might have been revealed in footage that hasn't been released yet, but not in anything that's been publicly released. So we didn't really know Monica was going to be in the movie. But this Redditor that dropped info about X-Men and Wolverine, also, he first released this leaked Captain Marvel image from what's from the NCAA footage that's going to drop later tonight. The game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, so the Captain Marvel footage will probably be online, I don't know, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock around halftime. That's my guess. But let's see. All right, so the audience is pretty stable right now. A Redditor posted this image, you know, leaked it online from the footage that's supposed to be released tonight on ESPN, right? And then in the thread on Reddit, he kind of got into an argument with another Redditor about Marvel's plans for the X-Men and Wolverine in the MCU. Now, worth a mention, again, before we get into the X-Men rumor, I want you to bear this in mind, what Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said last night at the Golden Globes, which was after what the Redditor said, which is found below. Feige said that he's, and the truth, he's excited for all the X-Men and Fantastic Four and all the Fox characters coming over to Marvel. And Feige said, I'm excited, and it's not just the marquee names which means the popular names. Feige says there's hundreds of names on those documents, on those agreements, the agreements between Fox and Disney. So there's hundreds of names, and some of them, maybe general fans aren't aware of. Kevin Feige says he's excited not just for the popular names, the names of the characters that have been appearing in all the Fox Studios movies. He's excited for characters you probably haven't heard of or haven't been on screen before. Now this comment, again, this is after what the Redditor says below. So we'll here's the thread from the discussion on Reddit where this Redditor Icon Kid claims to have a source who provided him this Captain Marvel leaked image from the footage, right? So now this Redditor claims he has info from the same source, I guess, which we're going to get into. So this Redditor Icon Kid and Accurate Broccoli kind of got into it in regards to solo X-Men movies, the possibility of, and Storm. This Redditor that leaked the Captain Marvel image, he says there's a lot of opportunities now that the X-Men are back at Marvel. And then Accurate Broccoli, he goes on to say they're not going to make solo X-Men movies. And then, how would you justify that to the fans? Then this supposed leaker, says they definitely have plans to make solo X-Men movies. That's another reason Feige is excited to get the X-Men back. So many can be spun off or have a much more important role than how Fox has made the public and fans think. Trust me, my friend, Kevin Feige has plans. Of course, being Reddit, Accurate Broccoli isn't going to buy into it. So he offers is 100% absolutely not going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. And then the leaker Icon Kid, he says, you are literally forgetting by the time the X-Men are even integrated into the MCU. Other heroes will be hanging up the capes. You're looking way too ahead. What he's talking about is probably after the Avengers Endgame when Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and whoever else are done with with Marvel. So X-Men, insinuated to be part of the Marvel's Phase 4 plans, which has actually already been rumored. Then Icon Kid, he goes on to say there are thousands of X-Men that aren't going to be on the team. Let's just start there. Some that are going to be new ones we've never seen for diversity and etc. Feige is going to take a homecoming approach to X-Men to differ it from the Foxverse, and there will be 1 or 2 solo films from that franchise as well. He goes on to say the Fantastic Four are easy to do, requires 1 film to get them into the MCU. They don't plan to do the typical 3 solo things in the future. They plan to use Disney Plus, the streaming service, as well for movies and series, and take a Hulk approach to some of the heroes by crossing them over as well. Not to mention they are planning to go up to 4 films a year. They have enough leeway to do 1 team-up film and 2 solo films a year, or 3 solo films a year if they want, plus Disney Plus streaming service for even more heroes, which Feige plans to do. Accurate Broccoli, he says Disney Plus can be taken out of the equation as the TV shows will never be equivalent to the blockbuster movie, and that they don't have space for solo X-Men movies. No, this is my note. It sounds like Accurate Broccoli's kind of thinking that the Marvel Studios TV shows might be as bad in quality as like ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or even the Marvel Netflix series. Now, Disney has made it pretty clear that the Marvel Studios that the Marvel Studios TV shows that are in development on the Disney Plus streaming service are going to be really high budget. And Disney CEO Bob Iger even recently said that the Marvel TV shows from Marvel Studios on the Disney Plus app are going to be a higher budget than the ABC shows. So I'm not really too worried about the budgets of the Marvel Studios movies because I think it's going to be high quality. Just because, you know, it's Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige isn't going to let, you know, his characters become like a Marvel TV. And also, Disney CEO Bob Iger, he also confirmed a while ago that there are plans in place to use the Marvel Fox characters as part of their Disney Plus streaming service. And we haven't heard anything since then, and there's no known details about what that might mean. But the leaker, Icon Kid, he goes on to say they definitely plan to do films and series for smaller characters who they think don't need a big Hollywood film on Disney Plus, and plan to give certain X-Men spin-off solo movies. He says, if I had to trust my close personal source who has been 99% right and has given my info I've shared with everyone on Reddit versus you. I'm sorry, I gotta go with him. But if you're so against it, you're definitely not gonna like Feige's plan, including Wolverine. Then another Redditor chimed in, thinking that Wolverine's getting the short end of the stick. So this Icon Kid is claiming that, you know, Wolverine, some fans of the X-Men might not like what Marvel Studios plans on doing with Wolverine. My own thoughts on it seems, based on what the Redditor claims, Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige may be going with X-Men characters previously not a part of the Fox universe. It could be that the current popular Fox X-Men characters that are in the movies could be placed on the back burner. The Redditor also mentioned something about the X-Men characters being used for diversity's sake. I don't know if that could apply to Wolverine or not. Regarding the Hulk approach, maybe Wolverine will just be making appearances in various films like the Hulk and not in his own movie. That could be a possibility. Or another possibility could be that Wolverine could be just exclusive to the Disney Plus streaming app. Maybe he won't even appear in the MCU films, but Marvel Studios will just keep him on the app as an exclusive. Maybe a TV series. You know, I actually wouldn't mind if, you know, Wolverine wasn't a part of the X-Men team. I always liked Wolverine better when he was solo, more of a, you know, his feral version of himself than the old Wolverine solo comic. I actually like that better than a big team, because you don't get as much as the character as, you know, in a team movie or comic, obviously, compared to like a solo comic, which can like basically 100% focus on Wolverine. But welcome to the live chat. This is the first live chat of the new year. I'm Matt McGloin. I run Cosmic Book News. Started it about 10 years ago to promote the 2000 Nova series and the 2008 Guardians of the Galaxy series. So we'll go over this again. We'll start from the top. A Redditor yesterday leaked an image online from the Captain Marvel extended TV spot that's going to air tonight during ESPN. It's right here. It features Brie Larson talking to a young Monica Rambeau, whatever it is. Said to be her goddaughter. Now, if you're a comic fan, you obviously know Monica was once Captain Marvel in the comics. And how it relates to the movie is Monica's mother, Maria, is an Air Force pilot and friend to Carol Danvers. So what's kind of interesting about this little tidbit is that obviously now in you know, in our time, I guess you could say, is Monica's all grown up. Wonder if that'll have anything to do with the Avengers Endgame. But so this Redditor that leaked this Captain Marvel image also posted some information about the X-Men and Wolverine at Marvel Studios, potentially offering bad news for Wolverine at Marvel. Maybe some fans won't like what Marvel Studios is going to do with the X-Men at once they come into the MCU. Because I think a lot of fans are thinking, excuse me, that, you know, Marvel Studios is just going to simply reboot all the characters and do, you know, another Team X-Men movie, you know, Team Wolverine movie, solo Wolverine movie, you know, using all the same characters and popular characters. But that doesn't seem to be the case, according to not only what the Redditor claims, but also what Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said at the Golden Globes last night, which is right here. You know, MTV interviewed Kevin Feige at the Golden Globes and asked what was he excited for with the X-Men, you know, and the Fox Marvel characters coming over. And he said he's not just excited, you know, for the popular characters. He's excited for names that you might not know. He says not just the marquee names you know. There are hundreds of names on those documents, on those agreements between Disney and Fox. Hundreds of, like, X-Men and Fantastic Four characters. All related Fantastic Four and X-Men characters Fox Studios owned the film rights to. Now that Disney is purchasing Fox Studios, they get all the rights, and so they got to do all the contracts. And on the contract, every single character's name has to be listed. So right there's not, you know, there's more than a dozen or 2 dozen X-Men characters and Fantastic Four characters that have appeared in the Fox Studios movies. Now the Redditor claims that Marvel Studios is going to be using some of those characters, you know, that haven't been in the movies in potential solo flicks and on the Disney Plus streaming service. I got the articles up at Cosmic Book News, the main site, but which I have up right here, and we can go through. This is the Redditor right here, whoever this dude is, Icon Kid. He's the one who leaked the Captain Marvel screenshot and claims to have a source that's, you know, 99% correct or whatever, that's told him some info. And he got in an argument with Accurate Broccoli on Reddit about, you know, like X-Men and solo flicks and how the MCU is going to deal with the X-Men and Wolverine and such, Fantastic Four. You know, he claims Marvel definitely has plans to make some solo X-Men movies. There's so much that they're going to do, more than, you know, what Fox has made the public and fans think. So you have to bear in mind, if you're one of us, you're probably like, you know, if you're on these news sites like mine and stuff, more than likely you're a hardcore fan. You know, you're familiar with a lot of these X-Men characters. You're familiar with a lot of the Fantastic Four characters, but you have to bear in mind, we're the minority, guys. The majority is the general audience. You know, this is where the majority of the bucks comes, you know, for these movies. It's the general audience. You know, they might not have heard of an Annihilus. You know, my older brother, he has 3 little whippersnapper sons, my 3 nephews, and, you know, they didn't hear of, they don't know who Annihilus is. You know, but, you know, like me, like, you know, obviously Cosmic, I know who Annihilus is. I'm excited for him, or Super Skrull, even like Galactus. You know, like a lot of the general audience, they might know Silver Surfer or have a clue because of the past Fantastic Four movie, but a lot of the general audience, they don't have, you know, they don't have the knowledge that we do. So you have to bear in mind that, you know, Disney's approach is, you know, they're more in tune with the general audience, you know, which explains movies like Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy. They're more to please the general audience than they are to, you know, hardcore fans. You know, that's a no-brainer. But So getting back to what this Icon Kid Redditor dude says right here, he says there's thousands of X-Men that aren't on a team. Now, this kind of fits with what Kevin Feige said at the Golden Globes. Kevin Feige said there's hundreds of characters, you know, that are on these documents, and now this Redditor who said he posted this like 12 hours or whatever before Kevin Feige said that at the Golden Globes. He said there's thousands of X-Men that aren't going to be on a team. Some of them are going to be new ones we've never seen, and they're going to be used. It sounds like he's saying they're going to be used for diversity's sake. And he says Kevin Feige is going to take a Spider-Man Homecoming approach to the X-Men to differ it from the Foxverse. And there will be 1 or 2 solo films from that franchise. So, right here, it sounds like, assuming this is somewhat true or what, it sounds like Marvel Studios isn't going to follow what Fox has been doing in putting out, you know, popular X-Men movies with the popular characters. Somehow the MCU, which makes sense, is going to differentiate their X-Men from the Fox Studios X-Men, and they're not just going to make it different using different actors. They're going to, it sounds like, you know, as he says, it's going to be a different approach. Oh, man, let me see something for a second. Oh, I didn't, this whole video, oh, man. Boom. Oop, I think the whole video, I forgot, I didn't. Oh, what a, yep. Alright, we gotta go back. Hold on. The whole, I use this software and you gotta click, you know, to reveal certain stuff. So you guys been just listening to me, haven't you? And I didn't know that. Alright. Yep. Yeah, I'm seeing it on my other feed screen right now. I'm new to all this live stuff, but we'll get it eventually, I guess. Alright. Here we go. We're going to take it from the top again. A Redditor posted a screenshot from tonight's exclusive footage that's going to be released on ESPN NCAA championship game. It shows Brie Larson talking to a young Monica Rambeau, who comic fans know as Captain Marvel. The same Redditor claims that he has a source who provided this, you know, this image still, the screenshot from the footage that gave him some X-Men news about Wolverine and more, and that it might not be that good for Wolverine or for X-Men fans. Now, what's pretty interesting about what this Redditor had to say is that last night at the Golden Globes, Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios president, kind of sets a similar remark or two. And the Redditor actually posted it around 12, 14 hours beforehand. Regarding what Feige had to say, he said he's excited for the Fox Marvel characters coming over to Marvel Studios, but it's not just the popular names. There's hundreds of names on the documents on those agreements between Fox Studios and Disney. Now the Redditor, he got in an argument. This dude here, Icon Kid, he's the guy that leaked the Captain Marvel footage. And then he got in an argument with Accurate Broccoli, excuse me, about, you know, the X-Men at Marvel and what Marvel Studios is going to do for it. Again, this Icon Kid Redditor claims to have a source that filled him in about some information. Icon Kid says that, you know, there's definitely plans for solo X-Men movies, which is a reason that Feige's excited to get the X-Men back at Marvel, and that so much can be spun off of it. And it's going to be different than what Fox has made the public and fans think. Again, I just mentioned, bear in mind that these movies are aimed more at the general general public than, you know, hardcore comic fans like ourselves. You know, some of these general public hasn't really heard of Galactus or Annihilus or Super Skrull or the Skrulls, you know, stuff like that. So, Icon Kid, he goes on to say that, you know, there's thousands of X-Men that aren't going to be on the team. Let's just start there. Some that are going to be new ones we've never seen. Some are going to, and he said, it sounds like he's saying some are going to be used for diversity's sake, like, you know, female characters or what have you. He claims that Kevin Feige's going to take a homecoming approach to the X-Men to differentiate it from the Foxverse, and that there will be 1 or 2 solo films from that franchise as well. So he's saying that Marvel Studios isn't simply going to recast the Fox Studios Marvel characters, that somehow they're going to make it different. They're not just going to reboot the X-Men and do the same movies over again, right? Which makes sense. He also adds that Fantastic Four is easy to do. It just requires 1 film to get them into the MCU. He says Marvel Studios doesn't plan to do the typical 3 solo things in the future. And I think by that he means by 3 solo movies building up to like an Avengers movie. You know, like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, then the Avengers. So, according to the Redditor, Marvel Studios isn't going to do that anymore. The Redditor claims that they plan to use Disney Plus for movies and series and take a Hulk approach to some heroes by crossing over as well. I'm not sure if that's exactly 100% true, because Bob Iger just said, Disney CEO Bob Iger just said that they're not going to do Star Wars movies for Disney Plus. He said they're not going to do movies that could make like $200 million or more, which you could throw Marvel into the mix, right? So they might not be doing Marvel movies for Disney Plus either. I suppose a no-name, maybe X-Men character, could they do a movie for that on Disney Plus? I don't know, maybe. But the Hulk approach means the Hulk hasn't been in any. Hulk doesn't have a solo movie because Universal Pictures owns the distribution rights, so Disney hasn't made any movies. But the Hulk approach is, you know, to put Hulk in, you know, various different movies and just not a solo movie. Like he appeared in the Avengers movie and Thor Ragnarok. So they could be doing that with some of the X-Men characters as well. You know, just not giving them solo movies, but, you know, putting them in various movies. And this Redditor also claims that the MCU is going to go up to 4 movies a year, and that there's enough leeway to do that with 1 team-up film and 2 solo films a year, or 3 solo films for various characters. And that maybe Disney Plus could have even more. Disney Plus is the streaming service that comes out this year. Now, Accurate Broccoli was arguing that Disney Plus can be taken out of the equation, as its, you know, its TV shows will never be equivalent to a blockbuster movie. Now, what I'm assuming Accurate Broccoli thinks, you know, the Marvel Studios TV shows are going to be like the Marvel TV, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Netflix, even the Netflix, you know, like Iron Fist or Inhumans, you know, which are super low budget and awful. But it's already been said that the Marvel Studios TV shows on the Disney Plus streaming app are going to be really high budget. Obviously not as high as a budget as a MCU movie, but they're going to be a higher budget than the ABC shows. Bob Iger just confirmed that recently, that the Marvel Studios TV shows are going to be higher budget than the ABC shows, which, you know, also includes like the Star Wars TV shows. So they're going to be, it's all going to be really high quality. Iger also previously confirmed there's plans in place for the Fox Marvel characters to be used in the Disney Plus streaming service. So that's already, this has been going on a long time. You know, like people tweet me, you know, accusing me of being a liar, saying that Disney doesn't already have a hand in Fox. They already do. This is a $71 billion deal that's been probably in talks for years. This just didn't happen out of the blue. And you could bet Marvel Disney, the Disney's also getting like the Simpsons. They're getting the Avatar franchise. They're already talking about. There's already plans in place. As soon as the Disney Plus streaming service app launches, they want to have shows. They want to have new content. They got to have it in order to compete with Netflix. So there's definitely plans in place, with these Fox characters at Marvel. Icon Kid, he goes on to say, Marvel definitely has plans to do films and series for smaller characters who they think don't need a big Hollywood film on Disney Plus, and plan to give certain X-Men spin-off solo movies. He says his source is 99% right. And here's where he mentions Wolverine. He says if you're against what he says above, you're not going to like Feige's plans include Wolverine. So, and then this Bolt 95 chimed in saying, so we're getting the short end of the stick. I really hope not. Now, I go into some possibilities about what could happen with Wolverine of Marvel. Based on what the Redditor claims, and even what Feige said about there being a lot of characters and not the popular characters above, it seems as if Marvel Studios may be going with X-Men characters previously not a part of the Fox movie universe. The Fox movie universe used basically all the popular characters. I don't know, what were there, a dozen maybe? 2 dozen, something like that, including the Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer. But it could be possible that once these characters come over to Marvel, especially with X-Men Dark Phoenix coming out in June, Marvel Studios might actually put the popular characters on the back burner, and launch and go with characters that haven't been seen before in movies. Because, Marvel, the general audience, again, is going to be thinking, is this related to the X-Men Dark Phoenix? Is this related to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine? Is this related to X-Men Apocalypse? All that stuff. The general... I'm sure some of you guys, if you talk to your family members who they go see the movies, they question, whoa, why isn't Spider-Man in the X-Men movies or blah, blah, blah. You get it. But you have to keep that in mind. So more than likely, Marvel Studios isn't just going to reboot the X-Men right away and use the same characters. And honestly, it makes sense from a business standpoint and from a story standpoint. But some of my other thoughts include... which I hope isn't true, excuse me. The Redditor claims, some of these X-Men characters will be used for diversity's sake. We all, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say all of us, but we all don't like that diversity word because, well, how it's negatively implied is that it replaces, characters of obviously of a white origin, And my argument has always been, I don't want characters being replaced. Create new ones, or use, the ones that you have. Because like my favorite character, one of my favorite characters is Wendell Von Quasar. And that's why this site was built. It was for Quasar, and at the end of Annihilation, they replaced them. And, it was ridiculous. And then Nova ended up getting replaced by some teen kid wannabe. It was terrible. It's just terrible. All it does is just tick the fans off. I wouldn't want to see Black Panther replaced with, a white dude or an Asian or, a female. It's just, or Luke Cage. You got to look at both sides of the picture. But, so I hope they're not doing that to Wolverine where they... I don't think they will. That would be for diversity's sake. I mean, Star Wars took a huge dump, so I think Disney might be getting over that real quick. But also what could be a possibility for Wolverine is that what if they do the Hulk approach with Wolverine? They could, meaning no movie for Wolverine, but they just put him in various, films, different films for different characters. That could be a potential booster for like a no-name X-Men characters if they have Wolverine in those. It's kind of what they do with comic books, right? Or how about this one? What if Wolverine is exclusive to the Disney Plus streaming app? I actually wouldn't mind it if Wolverine's exclusive to the Disney Plus streaming app. because I actually prefer solo characters and solo comics. I'm not a big team fan because say if you like your favorite character is like Wolverine, you stick him in an X-Men team book or team movie, you're not going to get a whole lot of them compared to what you could get if it was a solo movie or comic book. You would get you know, the whole comic's based on Wolverine. He's the main character. But that's what the rumor has it, that Wolverine, you know, X-Men fans might not like what Wolverine, what Kevin Feige, what Marvel is going to do with Wolverine. You know, obviously this is all rumor, but again, this Redditor leaked this image from tonight's exclusive NCAA Championship ESPN Captain Marvel extended TV spot. And this is Monica Rambeau, who comic fans know as Captain Marvel. This is the young one in the 90s. So in our time, like, you know, right around, well, you know, in the MCU, the Avengers Endgame, she's obviously older. Wonder what that means. But the Redditor leaked this image yesterday. And then when I was, you know, I was going through Reddit and I found this post. I saw the conversation between Icon Kid and Redditor Accurate Broccoli, who got in a little bit of an argument, as Redditors are known to do. Not me, of course, but you know, they got into a little bit of an argument about solo X-Men movies at Marvel, and this Icon Kid claims to have a source. Again, he leaked this image here. This Redditor claims to have a source, you know, that filled him in about the following information. Well, I got the info up at the main Cosmic Book News site if you want to go over it there. I got all the links provided. I got the links to the original Reddit. And again, there's really two main reasons I posted this. First, of course, because he seems to know something if he got this ahead of ESPN's footage tonight, right? Maybe he's a foreigner. What tends to happen with these leaks is, you know, the foreign TV stations or what have you get copies of, you know, the Marvel footage, and, you know, workers there leak it online early. That could have happened with this. But then the Redditor claimed to have, you know, assuming it's the source that gave him that image still, information about the X-Men and Fantastic Four coming over to Marvel Studios. He's claiming that Marvel's going to take like a Spider-Man Homecoming approach to the X-Men to make it different than what Fox Studios did with their own X-Men movies. Now, the clue is, what did Marvel Studios do different with Spider-Man Homecoming than what Sony previously did with their Spider-Man movies? Well, for one, Marvel kind of did it better, at least better than the Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man movies. I wasn't too happy with how Marvel Studios just gave Peter Parker everything. Like, basically, Tony Stark just, you know, he provided Peter Parker with basically everything. That's, you know, that's what I didn't like. I'm not a big fan of the Spider-Man teched out suits. You know, I like Spider-Man as like an everyman. You know, I don't like him as an Avenger. You know, that type of stuff. But I mean, it was still a good movie. You know, and Spider-Man definitely worked in Civil War. He had that nice little scene on the tarmac, and Infinity War, he was great. I like, you know, even though obviously he used a souped-up suit in Infinity War, but Infinity War, he was good. You know, it was a touching scene between him and Tony Stark when Peter Parker, you know, he turned to dust, because obviously he looks at Tony Stark, you know, as a father figure. But that's what's being claimed, is that Marvel's taking a homecoming approach to the X-Men to make it different than what Fox Studios did with their movies. So take from that what you will. He doesn't say too much about the Fantastic Four, but what he says about the Fantastic Four is that, you know, it's easy to do. It just requires one film to get them into the MCU, which is true. All you have to do is, you know, you can show a quick origin and then, you know, pop them into the MCU. You know, all they got to do is, you know, they could be in the Baxter Building in New York City. You know, Reed's doing his experiments or whatever. Boom, they go to space. You know, they get subjected to cosmic radiation to get their powers. You know, and Doctor Doom's in Latveria. You know, it's not hard to do. You know, Doctor Doom. Actually, Age of Ultron would have been a cool way to introduce Doctor Doom somehow, but obviously they couldn't back then. But yeah, so that's the rumor. I can take some questions right now. Let me see. I'll check YouTube right now, see if we got anybody. I think we're on Facebook. We got. Let me hit the reload button. But yeah, a lot of cool info came out today because Kevin Feige was at the Golden Globes for Black Panther, which, you know, didn't win an award, but MTV caught up with Feige and asked him about Captain Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, James Gunn, the X-Men. Let's see. Oh, not too much. People are going a little crazy on the comments, but what are you going to do? That's pretty normal. We can go into. Let's go into what. Let's see. Here we'll go into this one. I like this is what I like. What Kevin Feige had to say at the Golden Globe Awards. Now, let me remind you, it was yours truly who first revealed the Avengers Endgame title. I did it back April 2018. It was before Infinity War even premiered. And I knew about it before the world premiere of Infinity War. I'm the one who exclusively first posted the Avengers Endgame title. And now, if you recall, following that, there was all kinds of nonsense and lies and BS about what the title was. And, you know, there was that Avengers Annihilation rumor, which was 100% false and 100% fake news. And Kevin Feige confirms that right here, as he says, he tells MTV that Avengers Endgame has been in place since before we started developing the movie, or just as we were developing it. Now, bear in mind, they were developing the movie at least around, you know, at the same time as Infinity War. Infinity War and Avengers 4 were filmed at the same time. So when they first years ago, Marvel has plans in place for these movies for years. You know, on their big chalkboard, they had Avengers Endgame. That's the next movie after Infinity War. That was the title, so to speak. You know, and then Kevin Feige even confirms that, you know, they intentionally had Doctor Strange say the Endgame line in Infinity War because they knew it was the title all along. Now, the Russo brothers, you know, they did say that when asked if the title was mentioned in Infinity War, they said no. But, you know, the Avengers Endgame was not mentioned in Infinity War, right? Just Endgame. So, I mean, if you want to be, you know, you could go that route. But, so, you know, the Russo brothers, they've been they took a page out of Loki's book, and they've been kind of doing some tricks on fans, such as with the Hulk footage in the Infinity War trailer that wasn't in the movie, you know, and that was a big thing. So Kevin Feige, he confirms that it's been Avengers Endgame title all along. All right, so that was one of the news stories from earlier today. Here's another one. I like this one too. Feige says that he's open to an Adam McKay Silver Surfer movie. Now, a couple weeks ago, Adam McKay, who worked on Ant-Man, I think he might have worked on an early version of the Ant-Man script, but he said that he wants to do Silver Surfer, right? And so MTV caught up with Feige at the Marvel Studios, or at the Golden Globe last night, and asked him about it. And Kevin said he hasn't gotten the call yet, but he saw Adam earlier that night. He says that everybody knows Adam's an incredibly smart guy. He's an honest-to-goodness fan, and that he did a lot of behind the scenes on Ant-Man. What's interesting is that Adam McKay, he directed the Dick Cheney Vice movie, which has a Galactus cameo in it, right? There's a scene, I haven't seen it myself, but there's an extended shot of Galactus in like one of the scenes, which is being narrated by Jesse Plemons' character. I haven't seen the movie myself yet, or the Galactus cameo, but that is Marvel Studios actually got the Galactus cameo for Adam McKay for Vice. So anybody that's stating that Disney doesn't already have a hand in Fox Studios, I mean, come on, you have proof basically right here. Marvel got Galactus the cameo in Vice for Adam McKay. Now, regarding the Silver Surfer movie, and Adam McKay, Feige finished off saying, so I look forward to speaking with him more, assuming about Silver Surfer, right? So that would be pretty sweet. If Marvel happens to watch this, or anybody at Marvel, if you're watching it, my only hope is that you don't make Silver Surfer goofy. You made Guardians of the Galaxy goofy. You made Thor Ragnarok goofy. No more cosmic goofy stuff. All right? No more goofiness. Enough of that. Let's get a hardcore Marvel Studios cosmic movie like Annihilation, or, in the tone of the Dan Abnett comics. Thanos Imperative. Read those. Nova, 2000 Nova series. Read that. 2008 Guardians of the Galaxy series. Wasn't goofy. Wasn't Dancing Star-Lord. None of that garbage. Garbage of the galaxy, as I call it sometimes. Don't get me wrong, it's entertaining. And, of course, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about, having to please the general audience. There's no doubt that both Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy movies were, really popular and entertaining. I actually watched Thor Ragnarok for the second time a month or two ago, and, it warmed up on me a little bit. I really didn't like what they did with Taika Waititi did with Korg and Meek. They were two really important characters in the Planet Hulk storyline. And Korg and Meek were like really just idiotic in Thor Ragnarok. Okay, so we're done with the Silver Surfer news. Let's go on to the next bit. We'll go to this one. Now, as we all know, last summer was actually the Friday at Comic-Con, I believe. San Diego Comic-Con. The news hit that Disney had fired James Gunn from Marvel Studios and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Right-wing conservative news sites, they dug through old tweets of James Gunn's that dealt with like pedophilia and rape and stuff like that, and they reposted them, or they brought them to Disney's attention, because what happened was, for whatever reason, James Gunn, he had to post his 2 cents about everything political and Donald Trump, which made no difference at all, which is the real sad story of it all. All James Gunn's tweets that he did about, you know, his political stance made no difference at all about anything. And it got him fired from Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But, man, without going to a little rant about that, MTV also caught up with Kevin Feige at the Golden Globes and asked him about, you know, what's the status of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Feige started off by stating that he saw Aquaman last night and he really enjoyed it. He said that, you know, he doesn't see DC as a rivalry. You know, he seems, you know, he sees a bigger picture where all cool films are being made. And he says, one thing you know about James Gunn, he makes cool films. You know, and that Feige confirms Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will happen, but he, you know, he says when, where, how. You know, he obviously can't talk about it right now. So at least, you know, it's been said Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is definitely getting made. Karen Gillan, even recently, she plays Nebula, offered that she read the script, and it's known the script is by James Gunn. Disney has said they're keeping James Gunn's script, whether or not, you know, whether or not when they bring a new director on, if that, you know, holds true remains to be seen. But rumors are for, you know, to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3 include Bumblebee director Travis Knight. So that could be a possibility because Bumblebee was written by Christina Hudson, I believe. Hopefully I didn't butcher her name. So right there, Travis Knight was using somebody else's script and directed Bumblebee, so maybe he's a good contender for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Bumblebee was a decent flick. I mean, it was a, you know, a little 12-year-old chick flick type thing, but you know, it was a decent movie. So we'll have to see if he's going to take on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 for Marvel, because James Gunn, if you didn't know, he's now signed with Warner Brothers. He's doing Suicide Squad 2. He's writing and directing it. So Disney gave James Gunn the boot, and so he said, you know, F him, I'll go do Suicide Squad, another team movie. Okay, that bit of news is done. Now here's an X-Men. Marvel, or Kevin Feige says, you know, the X-Men coming back and Fantastic Four, all these characters coming back from Marvel, or coming back from Fox to Marvel, you know, it's a dream come true. He says he's excited for it. He says, I'm excited, and it's not just the marquee names you know. There are hundreds of names on those documents, on those agreements. And the fact that Marvel is as close as we may ever get to now having access to all the characters is something I have been dreaming about for my almost 20 years at Marvel. It's very exciting. Now, as I pointed out earlier, this is what you want to look at right here, because Kevin says that he's not excited. Well, he's not only excited for the, you know, the popular characters that we all know, but not just the popular characters, and that there's hundreds of names on those documents, on those agreements, which is the contracts between Disney and Fox, which has to list every single character that Disney is getting from Marvel, or from Fox, excuse me, which is all the related X-Men and Fantastic Four characters. So right there, you know, he gives a big clue as to potentially where Marvel Studios is going with these characters, and that there are hundreds of names on those documents, which means, you know, names that weren't in the Fox Studios movies, which ties in to what this Redditor claims. And this Redditor posted this info before Kevin Feige said that at the Golden Globes last night. So that's, you know, it's kind of interesting how it all ties in. Plus the Redditor leaked the Captain Marvel image from tonight's ESPN footage. How long am I streaming for? Well, I've been on for about an hour. So I'll go over it one last time real quick. Redditor leaks this image right here from tonight's ESPN footage from the Captain Marvel extended TV spot that's going to air later tonight during the NCAA championship game on ESPN. Then he gets into a little argument with another Redditor about what Marvel Studios is going to do with the X-Men and Fantastic Four once they come back to Marvel. And he says, you know, there's going to be solo X-Men movies. Feige's real excited to get the X-Men back. This Redditor dude right here, says, "Oh, that's not going to happen. This isn't going to happen. Fans are going to go crazy if certain characters and get franchises and not their favorite characters." But this dude here, Icon Kid, the leaker, he says, "You're not really following what's going on, dude. Other heroes are going to be hanging up their capes, so you're looking way too ahead." He says there's thousands of X-Men that aren't going to be on a team. Now, right here, this kind of fits with what Kevin Feige said at the Golden Globes about there being hundreds of other characters, right? And this guy says there's thousands of other X-Men that aren't going to be on the team. So right there, it sounds like Marvel Studios might be putting the popular Fox characters on the back burner for a while and using new characters. This guy, Icon Kid, whatever his name is, he's claiming that Marvel is going to take a Spider-Man Homecoming approach to the X-Men to differentiate them from what Fox did. Take that from what you will. So whatever Marvel did differently, whatever their Homecoming approach was with Spider-Man, they're going to do something similar with X-Men. Marvel took a Homecoming approach to Spider-Man to make it different than what Sony did with their Amazing Spider-Man movies. And this guy claims that's what Marvel's going to do with the X-Men, too. Quick tidbit about the Fantastic Four. They're easy to do as, you just throw them in one film to get them into the MCU, which I agree with. That's probably true. This guy claims Marvel isn't going to do the typical 3 solo things in the future, leading to, an Avengers. How, they typically did Iron Man, Captain America, then Thor, then the big Avengers movie. So maybe they plan, they're going to go a different route. This Redditor claims, the Disney Plus streaming service, which launches this year, might have movies and series and take a Hulk approach to some of the characters. The Hulk approach being that the character is not going to have its own solo movie, but that the character will appear in different movies, like the Hulk appeared in the Avengers movies and then appeared in Thor Ragnarok, like that. Also, that maybe Marvel Studios is going to bump it up and kick it up a notch and go up to 4 films a year. What are they at now? 2 or 3? Disney Plus. This Accurate Broccoli dude, he's thinking, at least this is my opinion, that the Disney Plus TV shows are going to be the same poor quality like the Marvel TV Inhumans show or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or even the Marvel Netflix. But Marvel Studios and Marvel TV, they're 2 separate companies at Disney. They don't even get along. That's the real reason why Daredevil and Luke Cage aren't in Infinity War or in Avengers Endgame. And probably why the Marvel Netflix shows are canceled. But Marvel Studios is launching their own TV series on the Disney Plus streaming app, which includes the Tom Hiddleston Loki series, a Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen series, and a team-up series featuring Anthony Mackie as Falcon and Sebastian Stan as Winter Soldier. And these Marvel Studios Disney Plus streaming service shows are going to be high budget. Disney CEO Bob Iger, he recently said that the Marvel shows, the Star Wars shows that are going to be on the Disney Plus streaming app are going to be a higher budget than even their ABC shows, which isn't too hard to think possible because the ABC shows really aren't that good. But and a while back, also saw Iger confirm that they already got plans in place to use the Fox Marvel characters as part of the Disney Plus streaming service. So there you have it. So there's plans in place already. Definitely plans in place. I wouldn't doubt for years. This has been going on for years. A $71.3 billion deal doesn't happen overnight, right? And now this Redditor, he says, if you don't like what he says above here, you're probably not going to like what Kevin Feige's doing with his plans for Wolverine. So again, go to Cosmic Book News. It's right on the main page. You click the link. You can follow along this thread here on Reddit. If you want to hit the original link to Reddit, it's right there. But, this guy's kind of laying out the plans for the X-Men at Marvel, assuming it's legit. Again, he did leak the Captain Marvel image, so maybe, he might know something. I don't know. But real quick, we're going to end the video. I'll go over my thoughts on what the Redditor says. It could be possible that Marvel Studios is going to place these X-Men characters on the back burner, the popular X-Men characters, the ones that appear in the movies, and go with, characters that, the general population isn't, the general fan, the general population doesn't know of. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're pretty hardcore. You can, X-Men character, Fantastic Four character, we're pretty familiar, but like somebody in the general audience, they don't know Annihilus, even Galactus, maybe even Silver Surfer, Super Skrull, characters like that. The general audience isn't going to know any of those characters, and plus Marvel Studios isn't probably going to reboot the popular X-Men characters right away, so not to confuse the general audience. Say like I don't know. If they reboot Wolverine right away, people are gonna be wondering what happened to Hugh Jackman. Why isn't he in the movie? I don't know. But it could be possible that they might take a Hulk approach with Wolverine, meaning no movie, but just throw him in appearances in other films. Or how about Wolverine exclusive to the Disney Plus streaming service? As I said, I wouldn't actually mind that. I actually prefer my characters and comics as solo, because obviously there can be more character development and you can focus more on the solo character than you can do if they're in a team book. So maybe Wolverine, he'll be just exclusive to the Disney Plus streaming service, maybe as a TV series, as like a limited TV series. Like the Marvel Studios Loki series, it's gonna be like 6 to 8 episodes. It's going to be real high budget and quality and good story and 6 to 8 episodes. Maybe they do that for Wolverine. It'd be pretty sweet. Imagine like Wolverine, in Canada, throwing the Hulk there. That'd be pretty wild if they did that. So I think I'm over an hour now. That's the rumor going around. Again, going to Cosmic Book News. I'm Matt McGloin. I run Cosmic Book News, and we'll catch you on the next live chat. Thanks.